Good morning. Thank you for joining us today for the 35th meeting of the Board of Lake County Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority. And may we use it in our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes, or here. Sorry.
Commissioner Young. Here. Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay, we have before us the meeting minutes for the regular meetings of August 13, August 20, and August 27. Do we have a motion to approve same with waiving of the reading?
So moved.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young. Yes. Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay, this now brings us to our first public comment portion of our meeting. Do we have anyone in attendance that wishes to speak? Thank you. Jason Boyd, County Administrator, do we have any electronics? Indicating none. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, this moves us now to our resolutions. Please proceed.
Yes, in the engineer's office, resolution authorizing final approval and accepting a 3-year maintenance surety for Lily Farm subdivision, Concord Township.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Solid Waste Operating Funds and Project Fund 597W.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Operating Funds and Project Fund 596 Lakeshore Trunk Sewer Rehabilitation Project 438S Phase 1.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Did you want to chime in on that? Or
Certainly, Commissioner. Again, this is, we continue to award design projects for this year in 2020 to local consultants. This is one of our main sewers that flows to the Mentor wastewater treatment plant, and we're preparing to rehabilitate some of that during construction next year.
Very good. Further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash from Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Operating Fund to Project Funds 501 and 596 for note payments due October 15, 2020.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Well, jump in on that one too. That's a.
Whenever you request that, we'll certainly.
No, there you go. Hey,
respond.
I'll just pitch it out there to you.
So from a business perspective, obviously, we operate on a balance of mostly cash and some debt structure. So in these two cases, we're paying down some of our loans. These are both in the wastewater department. One project that we're paying for is in construction at the plant, and one is a sanitary sewer that we recently constructed. So we're basically paying down some of our loans.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Operating Fund and Project Fund 596 Erie Street Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation Project 442S.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And discussion? Did you want to just keep
The last-
chiming in on all these?
Last one here, we have a theme, a lot of wastewater items going on this week, but this was an opportunity we had to partner with Fairport Harbor, who's replacing one of the streets in their community. So we had taken the opportunity to improve some of the sanitary sewer under that street before they permanently pave it. So we're working in harmony with them on a joint construction project.
So that's a nice way of saying they they're going to pave the street, then we're not going to come right back and tear it up in a year and replace the pipe.
Yes, Commissioner, that would certainly be always our approach to.
There
trying to
you
do things
go.
Underground and ahead of time.
No, sometimes it's just easier to come right out and say it, so I commend your group very highly for coordinating that and not disappointing the public. So, any further discussion?
None.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid sewer and water sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In Job and Family Services Department, resolution approving Lake County Department of Job and Family Services vouchers date of warrant September 25th, 2020, in the amount of $458,126.85.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution approving the final dedication plat for Lily Farms in Concord Township.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $4,006,221.02.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $540,407.69.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations of various non-general fund accounts.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion?
No.
None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay, this brings us to our departmental reports portion of our meeting. Utilities.
Just one quick item to update the board on from a staffing perspective. We have a handful of staff members, both in water and in wastewater, that are in the process of pursuing their Class 4 license, as what it's referred to. That Class 4 license is the highest license that they can achieve in the treatment industry. So we anticipate that probably in the next 6 to 12 months, they'll be getting that certification. That certification is kind of comparable to getting, preparing your thesis at a college level. So we certainly have some people that already have that Class 4 license on staff, and we've got another group that's kind of in that process and working through the application and the actually writing of the document, and I would imagine within the next year or less, we will have some positive response on that. Thank you.
Mr. President, just
Sure.
a quick question. So when these classifications do arrive, is there an automatic salary increase for the individuals?
I wouldn't say automatic, but we certainly review that and make recommendations to the board that, yes, they've achieved that highest level and that they should be
Yeah.
considered for some advancement, both from a professional level and a monetary level. And
Okay.
we always do that review.
And does this classification, I think you alluded to this once before, make them a little more marketable to other entities, other political subdivisions that have water systems?
And it's also in wastewater, yeah. From a utility
Right,
perspective,
yeah.
this certification is fairly rare in terms of the number of people that actually have it in Ohio.
Right.
Some of the recent people have retired, so they may not be active but have that license. So that's again why we're trying to develop a crop of licenses, because all of our facilities require a Class 4 license. It's mandatory from EPA perspective.
Right.
So
Right. Good. That's great news. Great to hear.
thank you.
Well done. Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to our county administrator. Jason, you have nothing for us today? Very good, no report. Okay, so it shall be noted. And finance, no. Madam Clerk?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that the next commissioners' meeting is going to be next Thursday, September 24th, 10 a.m. here in Chambers.
On that one, though, maybe I was going to bring this up under new business, and I apologize. I just realized that there's actually a conflict with the Mentor Chamber. They have a legislative breakfast that day from 9 to 10:30. So that's going to put us in a little bit of an overlap. We're not going to...
Mr. President, I did correspond with, I forget the name of the person who's coordinating that, and indicated that we have a 10 o'clock meeting. I'll have to go back and check my notes, but I think they made some comment about being able to accommodate our departure from the meeting at a certain time. So I don't know. We'll have to follow up.
I will follow up
Jen,
and
would
check
you-
on that.
Okay, I just don't want there to be any surprises, but thank you. Okay, thank you, ma'am. All right, moving on to legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. All right, old business. Do we have any old business to come before the board? Very good. New business. We have new business.
Mr. President, I do have one quick item here, and it's with a lot of sadness, and I want us to keep in our thoughts and prayers the two sheriff's deputies that were shot in California recently, and you know, besides the incident itself being a terrible incident and lawlessness gone awry here, and I don't think they've caught the person yet, but it sounds like they're expending a great deal of efforts to find the perpetrator. But I think what we're seeing now in a lot of places, and this was a great example of that, and I talked to our sheriff about that, about this recently, that you know, the rhetoric against the police, against law enforcement in total, has been horrendous, in my opinion. Not that there aren't sometimes rogue individuals who do the wrong thing, certainly in law enforcement, but generally speaking, they do a great job, and we're very proud in Lake County of the work that we get from both the cities as well as from the Sheriff's Department. But the rhetoric coming from organizations like BLM and Antifa and others who support them, including elected officials and candidates, the rhetoric has been so negative to police about law enforcement in general, not just the defunding, but the characterization of law enforcement. This is what happens when you get that rhetoric, and that when that rhetoric is heard from people who are perhaps marginally in control of their own activities, their own actions, who get motivated by what they're hearing from people that are in political figures or from organizations. That has to stop, and it has to stop now, or we're going to have more and more situations where law enforcement is subjected to treatment and serious jeopardy of their lives because people decide to take things into their own hands, whether they're emotionally able to make these decisions or not. It doesn't matter. The rhetoric influences their actions, and we simply cannot have this kind of breakdown in law enforcement and in law and order in this country. We are, as I told our sheriff, we are just delighted, just taking a look at Lake County, at how I believe our law enforcement has done a great job in working with the community, and we have leaders in the law enforcement arena, as well as mayors and managers, who do an excellent job of working with the community and making sure that we are keeping our community safe. As elected officials, our primary responsibility, all other things aside, is to keep our community safe. If people don't feel safe, then nothing else really matters. We have to keep our community safe, and that means that we have to have proper law enforcement, and we have to have that law enforcement respected by all parties, officials, individuals, and organizations. We've been blessed in Lake County, as I've said before, to have that, but we also care about the rest of the state and about the rest of the country. And this rhetoric against the police, against law enforcement in general, has to stop, or we're going to see more and more violence against these people who put their lives on the line every day of the week. Thank you, Mr. President.
Very good, sir. Thank you. Commissioner Young?
I just say that, we can't exist as a free nation for very long if the people stop believing in our institutions, such as law enforcement, The only answer is martial law, which is not freedom. So what Commissioner Serino brings up is a critical issue, and we need to find a solution. Thank you.
Well said, gentlemen. Okay, happy note for Lake County. I'm very pleased to be bringing this forward. Lake County, we have now secured an additional $15,742,083. This is as a member of the Lake County, being a member of the NOACA region. Lake County is now receiving an unprecedented amount of regional funding. The breakdown is there were two resolutions that encompass this amount. The first resolution was one that will be receiving directly and regionally $10,309,419, and that's part of a $45,880,943 resolution total. So our percentage of these packages is amazing these days. Just some examples: the city of Mentor, resurfacing of Hopkin Road from Mentor Avenue, which is US 20, north to State Route 2, which is Market Street. And a couple more examples: the Lake County Engineer, they're going to be funded for the rehabilitation of Madison Avenue from Steele Avenue to State Route 84, which is South Ridge Road, in Paynesville Township, and Perry Township. Lake County Engineer is also going to be receiving funding for the reconstruction and relocation of Vrooman Road from Interstate 90 to State Route 84. This also includes funding for the bridge over the Grand River in Leroy Township and Perry Township. The second resolution, Lake County is going to be receiving $5,432,664 of a $41,996,751 resolution. And some of the projects include the City of Willoughby. They're going to be receiving funding for the Som Center Road Multi-Purpose Trail. This project involves construction of a multi-purpose trail along State Route 84, Ridge Road, from Willoughby west to the corporate limit at Halley Drive, then along the south side of Halley Drive from State Route 84 to State Route 91, Som Center Road, and then along the east side of State Route 91 from Halley Drive to US 20, Mentor Avenue, in the city of Willoughby. And then Lake Tran's also participating. Lake Tran Vehicle Replacement Project. The project involves the purchase of 12 light transit vehicles, or LTVs, or cutaway replacements, and 8 replacement vans to operate dial-a-ride service. Lake Tran will also replace one model year 2010 diesel-powered transit bus with one new diesel-powered transit bus. And gentlemen, if you guys want to weigh in on that?
I absolutely. First of all, I'd like to commend Commissioner Hamercheck for his work on NOACA on behalf of Lake County. These are huge numbers. And they will make a difference over the next number of years relative to infrastructure improvements. We have been members of NOACA for a long time, and I know that Commissioner Hamercheck's involvement in the leadership of NOACA helped make a difference in getting this approved. And this is really a big deal. This is, I think this is front page above the fold kind of information. Just not that I'm suggesting anything, but this is really big for Lake County here, and congratulations on achieving this. And the people of Lake County, I know, will appreciate this, particularly as the projects begin to start. Thank you.
Bless you. Indeed. Commissioner Young?
Yeah, I have a question. I know you were a big part of changing the philosophy
Indeed.
of NOACA that benefited Lake County tremendously. How would you describe that? What did you do, and what is the change?
Historically, Lake County has been what is called a donor county, meaning that Lake County would put in more money than would take back. That philosophy has been changed, particularly over this last year. The notion there was we should not be a donor region. I took the time to work with our colleagues on the board and show them where our region, Lake County, Geauga County, Cuyahoga, Medina, and Lorain counties, easy for me to say, our region has actually been sending more money out than we've been receiving. And once our colleagues were made aware of that, it became pretty easy to stop fussing and fighting over the same small pie, and now we're working diligently to bring in additional funding both in the state and nationally. It's been a significant fundamental shift.
Excellent. Good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Takes real
Mr. President,
leadership.
just so everybody understands that the funding, the dollars that NOACA administers are federal transportation
Yes.
dollars.
Air quality typically
So when we talk
associated.
about being a donor, it really, if we, just so we explain it to everybody.
Oh, indeed.
That these are funds that are allocated to, let's say, Lake County, but they get put into a pool that NOACA administers.
Yes.
So these are not, we're not paying into NOACA. It's
Our tax-
allocation of our share of federal dollars.
Yes, you're correct. Our federal tax dollars that go to the federal government then come back to our region. And NOACA is the Metropolitan Planning Authority, MPO, and they are the statutory agent by federal dictate as to who manages that. And historically, just to be clear, more money was paid out in taxes from Lake County than Lake County was receiving benefit from historically. That has now stopped.
I think the last big tranche of funding that we got was probably the Route 2 a number of years ago.
Very long time ago, and I believe Rumen Road also has been
Of the
a
bridge, yeah.
significant component. But one of the other ones that I'm very proud of is the fact that we finally closed the deal on Route 20. That's been talked about for about 45 years, and every time it would get funded, something somewhere else would require those funds in a more urgent manner.
And that's all the way to the county line?
It is from the Route 2 interchange on Route 20 in Perry Township all the way out to the county line in Madison Township. And it also was an example of a unanimous vote of the NOACA board that allowed the Madison Township trustees. I was able to insert an addendum to the $1.9 billion infrastructure plan that allowed Madison Township to have, I'm going to call it veto power, because ODOT was talking about going from 4 lanes down to 3, and it gave our township trustees a voice at the table, and the NOACA board saw the wisdom in doing that, which definitely got ODOT's attention, and ODOT saw the wisdom of working with Madison Township and maintaining the 4 lanes and doing what was requested of the people. So we worked very closely together on that when our county engineer, Jim Gills, was instrumental in supporting that effort as well. And sometimes when you just show people a better way and then you map it out, they do tend to follow that narrow path. So I'm also very happy to say, though, that with NOACA having recently celebrated its 50th year of service, I will admit I'm proud to have been a leading part of the change in the philosophy at NOACA, and it is definitely now benefiting Lake County like never before. And I just want to emphasize that same philosophy has elevated the NOACA region both in the state of Ohio and nationally, resulting in increased funding for the region as well. So those are very important things that I think it's
Excellent.
time that we actually step up and take some credit for our hard work. So with that, I thank you, gentlemen, for your support, and our county engineer and Lake Tran. Our 5 votes have made a big difference in NOACA, and particularly this last year.
Could you maybe, since you bring that up,
Yes, sir.
John, if you just mention who has votes in, because not everybody will necessarily understand how the county is represented.
There are breakdowns based on population. For example, Lake County has 5 votes based on our 230,000 census count, which reminds me, finish your census forms if you haven't done that, and talk to any of your friends and family and make sure that they've done the same. Little commercial there. For example, Geauga County, they have 3. There was a modification to the bylaws of NOACA just this last year that guaranteed that they would have 3 based on the mathematical formula that looked like a moonshot calculation. They would have received about 2.2 votes. Well, you can't really cut somebody up. There was no volunteers to be carved up. So
it's the commissioners and then the county engineer.
Yes.
Just so everybody knows.
So that was decided internally with Geauga, that 2 of the 3 commissioners and the engineer, obviously the engineer having expertise in the area of the transportation universe. Then you get into Lorain, Medina, Cuyahoga, and we'll just throw the city of Cleveland. They actually are separate from Cuyahoga County, and I believe there's about 26 votes in Cuyahoga alone. So it's quite daunting
Right.
to try to get our 5 votes to be able to stand up to that large number. So
So
that's where
in-
consensus building is so important.
So in Lake County, we have the 3 commissioners.
3
We have
commissioners,
the engineer
county engineer,
and
Lake Tran,
Lake Trent, correct?
which Ben Capel, the executive director and CEO.
Okay, good. I just want to make that clear.
There you go. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Commissioner Young, anything further?
Not at this point, no.
Awesome, thank you.
Good
And-
work.
Oh,
Good
bless you, thank you. And circling back under new/old business, the census, this month, unless something changes, the end of this month is the last opportunity to be counted. Lake County has finally broken into the 78th percentile. It does still rate us at among the best counties in the state of Ohio, and actually we're also among the best in the nation. But I'm going to be candid. I don't recall ever accepting a C, even if it's starting to become a C plus as being an acceptable grade. We have exceeded our count from 2010, but it's still not good enough. We took the time to put together a complete count committee. I thank my colleagues for entrusting me with being the chairman of that committee. We have put together a unique structure where we have a centralized command, but a decentralized control. And the reason that the decentralized control was so important is we empowered our partners to be able to function on their own, continue working with people. And those benefits have paid off even during this difficult COVID crisis. Lake County continues to be a high performer. The other counties that are ahead of us are typically much smaller counties in population, in many cases less than half of our population. We are taking efforts to reach out to our hard-to-reach community and building trust, and that is something that over the last several years, building trust with our community is also paying dividends, even under these difficult times. But I cannot overemphasize the importance of reach out to family, friends, anybody. Just say, hey, have you filled out the census? George Washington University, if I could break this down to dollars and cents, they're estimating a value of $1,800 per person per year. Right now, our undercount stands at a population of approximately the size of the city of Mentor. Just to put that in some perspective, we need to have as close to a complete count as possible. Our intentions when we began this before COVID, we were looking to be in the high 80s, low 90s. Right now, we're still chipping away at it. There's still time, but with things being cut back to the end of this month being the last time for the tabulation to occur, please fill it out online. You can fill out your paper copies, or you can do it over the phone in numerous languages. And the most important thing to emphasize is you just have to be a resident of Lake County in order to qualify. It is your constitutional right. And if there's nothing else, this brings us now to our second public comment portion. Do we have anyone from the public who wishes to address us? Yes, ma'am.
Ellen Chamberlain from Willoughby, and I wanted to wish the commissioners and all of the members of the staff here happy Constitution Day, and a reminder that our system of government encourages a vigorous, diverse political discussion. I do have one question on the agenda. Item number 6. Is there a change as a result of the current financial situation in the county? Is there a change in the number of unpaid sewer and water bills? Is there a significant change?
Do you want to comment on that?
Based on the economy right now, I think is the question. Gary.
In utilities only, we haven't seen any negative impact in terms of revenues.
Okay, so you haven't seen a big increase in unpaid?
Correct.
Thank-
We monitor that on a regular basis. And
I've also been in communication with Mr. Matus and legal counsel about the 5% reduction that you asked the departments to make. And it was explained to me that there wasn't specific information available about where those cuts were made. And I wondered if any of the commissioners had any further information.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the majority of those were separately elected officials who determine their own budget. We deal in the overall final number. They made the internal cuts themselves.
And that isn't part of public records.
If you want to make those specific public records requests, I'll look to legal to those departments. That information, we're not the custodians of those records. Dave, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, Ms. Chamberlain, you could make a public records request to any office in the county with regard to that. Whether or not they have specific records on that, I don't know. But, for example, I know that our prosecutor's office did lay off an assistant prosecutor, and
That's the kind of information that I think is important for us to understand the consequences of our current situation, particularly if it increases over time. I know you're optimistic about the current revenue situation for the county, but
We're also,
So-
as I think I expressed last week, Ellen, we're very concerned about next year.
right.
Because there's, excuse me, there's a lot we don't know yet from an economic standpoint. So
My concern is that there be a public conversation about where we're going, because those will be hard choices. And yes, you're elected to make those choices, but the input of the public helps prioritize.
And we will have budget hearings. We haven't scheduled them yet, but and those are open. As you know, you've been
Okay.
in attendance before, so those budget hearings will incorporate our view, depending on when they happen, of what 2021 looks like from a budget standpoint, and there will be plenty of opportunity for public to attend and participate.
Thank you, and again, have a happy Constitution Day.
As well.
Bless you. Thank you, ma'am. Jason, County Administrator, do we have any electronic questions submitted during public comments? Indicating none? Thank you, sir. Okay, well, this brings us to our conclusion of our meeting, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn same.
So moved.
And discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you. This meeting stands adjourned.